is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What's going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We are looking at the Wednesday 8-game main slate starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, running all the way to the 8 p.m. hour here. Big slate for 8 games on a Wednesday. We are a week and a half away from the end of the NBA regular season. We have seen some crazy lineup changes and injuries and guys ruled in and guys ruled out. It is the funny time of the NBA season, James, as we've talked a lot about here. So as always, stay with us at Roster Lock so you can catch news like Jalen Williams with the Y starting out of nowhere, out of the blue. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody predicted it happening. And then that guy ends up with 13 assists in a game. The big center, Jalen Williams with the Y, that is, not the forward guard, Jalen Williams, that didn't play because he was inactive. We're things happen tonight. We're ready to turn the page. We're ready to move forward. I'm on the playbook for this one, so it should be fun.
Things happen like Joel Embiid getting ruled in in the middle of the night, and now Philadelphia being investigated by the league because improper reporting on Joel Embiid's injury for the second time this year.
Is it really improper reporting? Because he was questionable the day before.
He was questionable and then ruled out until 5:49 p.m. was the official.
Oh, he was right because he was ruled out for today. Right.
He was completely ruled out until a little less than 2 hours before the game, which means that you're not just, it's a 2-month absence. He knew he was playing at that. I'm sure they'll get fined and we'll hear about it and whatnot, but. It is silly season in the NBA. The Thunder are jockeying for the 1 seed, and Chet Holmgren played 29 minutes. Josh Giddey, who has been on a tear, played 28 minutes.
Right.
Now, if Denver wins tonight, they are currently up by 1 at halftime. There will be a 3-win. Actually, Minnesota will be half a game ahead of OKC for the 1 seed. So either that tells me that they don't care about seeding, or they're playing the long game with their players. Like, they're back on this slate. We've seen Mark Dagnall do this on back-to-backs. We have a lot of back-to-backs on this slate.
Yeah.
Lakers, Washington, OKC. That's 3. Toronto, Minnesota, 4-5. Milwaukee, 6. So, that's a lot of second legs.
And a lot of teams that aren't playing for anything, as you mentioned, so they could be sitting.
Well, did you see the Charlotte? Did you see the Charlotte news today?
I did see there's a bunch of guys questionable here for this one. Bridges, Miller, and Micic. I saw that they were questionable. Grant Williams also questionable for this game. So
Micic is doubtful.
Doubtful, yeah.
So poker season is in full effect here.
Bertans
season full effect, but like
Nick Smith Jr.
It's potentially.
Say it. It's fun. It's gonna be fun.
It's potentially a slate that we will.
It is a slate. This is a slate. 8 games. We'll just get into this. All right. Because why waste the time? Portland, Charlotte. Charlotte giving 1.5 somehow against Portland here. 213 total. Lakers, Washington. Wizards getting 13.5, 233. Detroit, Atlanta giving 13, 222. Boston, OKC. Celtics giving 8.5, 227. Pacers, Nets getting 7.5, 230.5. Memphis, Milwaukee. Bucks giving 14, 223. Toronto, Minnesota. Timberwolves giving 15.5 at 215 total. Orlando, New Orleans giving 4, 209 total in that one.
Let's get into things.
Yeah. Point guard position. DeJounte Murray, 99. Halliburton, 92. Maybe SGA at 10-1. Maybe Damian Lillard at $8,800. What are you thinking?
SGA is fine if we get the news that he's going to play second leg of a back-to-back. Was fine against Boston the first time around. 36 actual, 57 fantasy points. If it's SGA, no Jalen Williams. Monstrous numbers. 1.7 fantasy points per minute. So I would have a lot of interest in SGA despite the tough matchup. We know DeJounte is good at the game of basketball. He is kind of less good with Jalen Johnson in the lineup as opposed to I'm not saying he was terrible last
I
game,
say
but
Jalen Johnson didn't even start on that game, but
did not. But all I'm saying is he there was clearly like Jalen Johnson can do a lot of ball handling. And now we're paying max price to DeJounte. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm also just throwing it out there that on Jalen Johnson's return, it's not 50 plus fantasy points
sure.
today, it's 35 in a game that they comfortably won. Not that the volume was poor or anything, I'm just also pointing it out. I'm okay with it. Dude, Halliburton looks pretty dang good lately.
When the threes drop, the numbers look good, right?
He's starting to get it all back. Possibly no Miles Turner here, so maybe even more um, for Halliburton in just terms of everything. But I mean, in basically every game but Chicago, things have looked really good for Halliburton. So I like Halliburton. If Cade plays and you think they can keep this game competitive, well, we've seen what Cade is going to do in competitive outings. 58, 57 fantasy points in the last 2 games. So I'd definitely be okay getting to some Cade Cunningham if you think, again, that game can stay competitive. I don't know what they're going to do with quickly on the second leg of a back-to-back, but I don't really care all that much.
Right.
And like really tough matchup for CJ against the Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but also like I'd probably be okay paying 8K for CJ, but also I'm sure there's going to be better options below.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mid-tier range, again, we'll see what happens with the Portland situation here. Banton, $6,900. Scoot Henderson finally priced below him, $6,800.
Yeah. And again, Scoot gets in foul trouble, and the 35 minutes is fine. Almost triple doubles, that's fine. But Banton nukes the slate again. 50 burger plays all the minutes. Would you play them both, or would you think we just have to make a decision on?
I think you can play them both. There's just obviously some risk involved there, right?
Yeah.
Because if it feels like Donald Band is just playing anyway. So we have seen times where that didn't end up happening, right? Where
Yep.
he played just the 30 minutes or 24 and everybody else stayed out of foul trouble and went off, So, but this is an elite matchup for both guards here against Charlotte.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm feeling. Scoot did have the good game, right? Not Malcolm Brogdon. Scoot had the good game. 34 fantasy points there, 13, 8, 9. Did he get 5 fouls with the 35 minutes?
Well, Ben went for 50.
Right. So they're both in options here. Ivy, if there's no Cade at 61, man, obviously could be the Lone Ranger here against Portland.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he'd be really appealing. Man, 54 or 55. TJ McConnell. Look at that, John. 30 fantasy points in 18 minutes for TJ McConnell.
mm-hmm.
Running it right back against Brooklyn again. Because that's what TJ McConnell does. Patrick Beverley left this game. If there's no Dame or Patrick Beverley, I'd be really interested to see what Milwaukee decides to do, because we're not even sure if Chris Middleton's going to play on the second leg of a back-to-back. This could literally just be Giannis and who? AJ Green?
Yeah.
Patrick Connaughton starting at what are they going to do at point guard? So Beverly 4,900. I think it's fine. If he's starting and there's no Dame. Jordan Goodwin kind of did it again. 13 rebounds again for Jordan Goodwin. Is he the best rebounding guard in the NBA? Or
it's all about effort. We've talked about that a bunch of times, right?
Right.
The Rebounding is all about you being willing to go get the rebound,
Right.
So
Right.
not too shocking, I guess.
So I mean, I think Goodwin he's going to come off the bench, but I think it's appealing. What did Jared Butler end up playing tonight, John? What did we have for Jared Butler? Because he actually had a pretty. He only played 17 minutes. He had 17, 3, 3, and 2 off the bench. Jared Butler, $4,000, I think, is in play. Dyson Daniels, 25 minutes in his return, $3,700. Would you
Yeah, they're still without Ingram, so
still without Ingram, right? And we kind of talked about it. Like they elected to go small with Zion at the 5 and no Valanciunas in that last game.
yeah,
So.
I can see it. Shooting guard position. Edwards is 94. Again, some guys we've discussed. Jaylen Brown, $8,100. Cam Thomas, 77. White, 76. A lot of these guards we kind of went over at the point guard position because they all have dual positional eligibility. Anybody stand out above the rest for you here?
Cam Thomas would probably be the guy. I know it was a brutal game against Indiana, but second leg of a back-to-back, traveling to Indiana was not fun for Brooklyn.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So I'm interested to go back to the Cam Thomas well. If Jaylen Brown's out, obviously Derek White. I mean, 40 burger basically every time someone's out. 40 fantasy points last game again. Definitely, I don't know what they're gonna do with Kuzma. But if there's no Kuzma again, like I'll happily go to Jordan Poole at 7,300 once again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if guys are out, would you play Josh Giddey 72 after seeing his minutes? Like again, here we are, another situation where nobody's playing, and yet Josh Giddey is not involved. Like I don't know. I don't know if we can really trust that. Trey Murphy coming off a big game, 21, 6, and 4. Didn't even close because they got blown out. Probably get to Trey Murphy. Jaden Ivey coming off a pretty big game last time out. If there's no Cade, Jaden Ivey 6,100 is probably one of the better plays of the slate too.
Yeah, I would agree with you for sure. Working our way down, you mentioned you were in on Luke Kennard the other night. 36 minutes against Detroit, 19 actual, 37 fantasy points. Price didn't move on him. Milwaukee, we know, certainly a team that you can score on. Cole Anthony, 5K down here. Then we'll see what happens with some of the value plays on this slate as the lineups come out.
Yeah, Luke Kennard, dude, 36 minutes in regulation for Luke Kennard, and they're basically running it right back with everyone. No Desmond Bane again, so we're gonna see big minutes out of Luke Kennard. We'll see what happens with Toronto if everyone's gonna play. If not, like Freeman Liberty would probably start.
Sure.
We'll see what happens with OKC. They played Isaiah Joe a whole bunch of minutes off the bench tonight, so that would be another option. We talked about Dyson Daniels. When you drop below
Repair played another 31 minutes. I mean,
yeah, repair 4K. I mean, the price is a little sketchy getting up to 4K, but it's something that I'd be okay paying. If you think that another blowout's going to happen, Lonnie Walker did get unleashed 30 fantasy points in 20 minutes. I don't think it's something. Actually, you know what? I take it back. Cam Johnson's back, and a bunch of guys are back. So
yeah.
I walk that back. We don't need to mess with that.
Okay. Moving on over to small forward then. Again, LeBron, Tatum up here. Tatum at 98. LeBron 10-2. Siakam $8,400. We don't know what Charlotte's going to do. Denny had a nice night tonight. $7,800 for him. Middleton on the back-to-back. We'll see if he sits or plays or not. Where are you going at small forward?
Definitely can get LeBron. Definitely can get to Tatum in whatever format you want. Siakam is fine. Didn't need to even like participate in the Brooklyn game, and they scored 130 points. I think there's a pretty good appeal to Siakam if there's no Miles Turner. Bridges would be a really good play if he does suit up against.
I was going to
Portland.
say,
I mean,
if we get one of just like solo Bridges or solo Miller against Portland, like that should be full systems go here.
Yeah, all systems go. Bridges has been really good on the court the last 2 games. Denny was really good tonight.
They did rule Nick Richards in for this slate too, so that's something
strange. That was strange. Bogdanovich had another good game. I don't think Middleton would play on a back-to-back, but I guess
Okay.
we'll see. Because like you've said it a couple times, like in no scenario is Chris Middleton needed on a back-to-back in the playoffs, right? So it's not like he's not qualifying for any awards. He doesn't
Yeah.
need to play back-to-backs here. So I assume he sits. Could this be just full sit because Giannis has been dealing with the knee anyway? Like, is it or a hamstring? I mean, is this like just a full sit? Everybody, it's Memphis
So
situation
maybe
because the 2 seed would be
because
the only
Cleveland's only 2 behind them.
with
So
a 20-point lead at half, so it'll be one and a,
right, 1.5, right? Because Milwaukee lost tonight
yes.
to Washington, and Cleveland's up 20. So this because they sit everybody against Memphis and lose again. Yeah, that puts the 2 seed very much in jeopardy here.
Cleveland plays tomorrow night. It's not on the slate in Phoenix.
Okay.
So and they'll have Mitchell back for that game.
Yeah. Yep. So definitely, we'll see. It all depends on, I guess the health of some of these players here.
Right.
So it certainly could be a case where they sat Lillard to then bench Middleton. Would not shock me, and they probably should consider it. But it's kind of where they're at with that. Franz 69. Again, I know that we've been waiting for him to sort of break out of this month-long slump. Still not really happening. Good to see 20 actual, but didn't give you much else. Hachimura revenge in Washington. I know they already said the Lakers guys are going to play, but if they didn't, I mean, the man balls out when it's just him. So
there's a lot of time from now until 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow, John. It's LeBron might wake up and say, Washington. Actually, my son just entered the transfer portal. Let me figure out what he's doing first.
He enter the transfer?
Yeah, Bronny. He has the opportunity to do the most hilarious thing ever and get on national TV and replicate what his dad did and just but instead announce his college. That would be so. Would the funnier decision be take my talents to Miami and then go play Miami of Ohio?
There's a story there I'll tell you later about. Small forward position. I guess we'll see who's in or out for OKC, right? I mean,
yeah, we have no idea.
Zero clue who will play for them. Boston, I imagine, will be full go in this one here. If not, Sam Hauser's apparently alive to threaten Klay Thompson's record whenever he steps on the floor for threes in the game. I got nothing else down here. Oh, Davis, 3,600. Davis Bertans could start and play 35 minutes in this game.
Yeah, there's a live chance he does. Dude, he played like 8 first half minutes against the Celtics and then did everything in the second half and closed the game. They were just like, all right, you're our only chance of like shooting us, get us back into this game. So just start shooting. And shots started to fall. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else that we need to consider down here. It is silly season, so we will see. Like we haven't even
ruled guys out. Like there's like Laravia or something like that could be in play. I mean, like who knows?
Charlotte. I mean, dude, Charlotte could be like if everyone is ruled out, Bridges, Miller, Micic, Grant Williams, their starting lineup might be Mann, Richards, Bertans, Poku, Nick Smith, Bryce McGowan's. I mean, it's going to be. Yeah. I don't know if you saw Marquise Bolden was their backup center the other day. He signed off the streets. He was the first one off the bench. I was shook.
Grant Williams had a big day there, but
he did have a good day.
All right, power forward. Again, Giannis, AD, Tatum, LeBron, Zion, they all have power forward eligibility. You can play any one of them. No,
yes.
You can just blanket statement. If Kuzma comes back here, you can play Kuzma against them.
Absolutely.
Little revenge game. We talked Bridges. Zinger at 79 would be pretty fun against the Thunder here. What did he play against the Thunder the last time? Played 35 minutes at 57 fantasy points.
Well, dude, we've talked about this. Like they can't rebound.
Yes.
And Porzingis, although not the best rebounding big, mostly because he's like he plays a lot of his time away from the rim.
Yeah.
And rebounds against him is not that's like a regular occurrence for
Right.
teams.
And listen, we've kind of dogged them for like the minutes Porzingis was getting, but 31-30 the last couple of games here. Played 41 against Atlanta, 34 against Atlanta in those competitive games that they lost. Yep. Thunder are going to come in here and probably give Boston a game. Boston doesn't need this game. They're just these are playoff tune-ups for them, but maybe they give Porzingis 35 minutes because come playoff time, they're going to need 35 minutes a night out of Kristaps Porzingis. So
he's playing he's playing 40, right?
yeah, probably.
Boston has, without a doubt, their starting
they
five.
Cut their rotation down to 7 guys in the playoffs.
Horford, dude, I think 8. You probably see Pritchard, Hauser still, but that's it. You don't see anybody else like Pritchard, Hauser, Horford. That's your bench. And then the starting, right?
And Pritchard and Hauser are probably getting 15 minutes, and Horford gets 20, right? Like
Derek White's checking out, and Missoula's looking at him, say, "Let me know when you're good," and then Peyton will spell you for 2. Like that's
long enough to put the snap-ons on,
right?
Snap them off. They bring back the snap-on pants. Those are the days. Let's see. Jalen Johnson 7K off the bench the other day, 25 minutes. If he starts, right, great price at 7K. If he re-enters that starting lineup,
yes, he would need to start, but $7,000 is just simply too cheap. Also, Jalen Williams 72, just throwing it out there. I know he's listed out, but if Jalen Williams were to play, I'd play him too.
It's a good night for Nas. Bobby Poe could be a guy that plays if everybody sits. And in that case, that'd be a green light special, $6,500. Santi not on the injury report here. He's 58. What did he get for minutes? 24. Clark being back kind of killing him, huh? A little bit.
Yeah, and just end of season. What do you need from Santi anymore, right?
True. Herb 57. You mentioned Cam Johnson's back at 53. Not terrible. We'll see what happens with Grant Williams at 51. Jabari played 40 minutes. Had a good day.
He did.
If you can find the right day where Jabari Walker has a good day, you'll win, right?
This seems likely here. We're gonna want We're gonna want a lot of port. This is.
I was already eyeballing some Ayton at $7,600.
Get ready to learn some Portland Trail Blazers, buddy, because we're gonna be playing a lot of them on this.
DeAndre Ayton, when it was initially in 36 minutes the other day. Now we get Charlotte here. The Ayton was going to be a core play for me.
Yeah, I agree I agree though, because on your Jabari point, and obviously and your Ayton point as well. They both had 40 fantasy points. Like they coexisted. But that's Jabari, right? Jabari is a good fantasy point per minute guy typically. When he's not facing Miami. So, yeah.
What happens here,
dude? I don't know how many times I can say it. Look, here's the list of their best players right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, and Trendon freaking Watford. That's by all accounts, Mikal Bridges has been horribly disappointing.
Yeah.
I assume he plays
because guys are back, like you mentioned, right? So
but they were back in the Lakers game,
right?
And he played 29 minutes, and they were there in the Chicago game, and he played 24 minutes. I'm not saying that it's a lock for the 29, 34 minutes, but mid-20s minutes, dude, 26, 23, 27, 31, 26 fantasy points, double-digit shot attempts in 3 of 5. He's made a 3 in 5 straight games. He had 2 rebounds. He's had 5 or more in 3 or the last 4 before that. There's really, it's obviously a little sketchier at 44, but I'm just saying, it's dude, he's not losing minutes. He's gaining. So
yeah, no, I'm with you there. Then Poku's 39, as we mentioned, could get some run. So we'll see what these lineups come out to. Let's get to center position and kind of close this one out. Triple J at 81. If everybody's out, would be interesting. Porzingis, we've discussed. You were in on Gobert on the Tuesday slate. I imagine nothing's changing you there for the Wednesday slate. I keep going back to Ayton here, though. 7,600 Charlotte's where I'm at.
I agree. I got nothing more to add. He's an elite play. All I will add is that we saw what Jaren Jackson looks like when he's going good. The other day, Jaren Jackson had 40 actual and 62 fantasy points. If that's the Jaren Jackson that could potentially be an option, then I am very interested, considering he's getting a team that just lost to Washington on the second leg of back-to-back, and we don't actually know who's going to play for the Bucks in this game.
Yep, I agree with you. Moving our way down, there's Olynyk, there's Claxton, Capella. Like, what are you thinking for some mid and value tier centers?
Ayton.
Yeah,
I know where you're going.
I don't disagree. Where's Jalen Duran? Jalen Duran's actually good to go in this game.
Yeah, he practiced. He practiced and is fully cleared. I would get there. Immobile center in Clint Capella, like that's a pretty good spot for Duran. Claxton's fine. 68.
Would Nick Richards play like 38 minutes in this game if everybody was out?
Probably. Now here's my question. Nick Richards 5K, everyone out, or Jalen Smith 47 if Miles Turner's out?
Oh, Jalen Smith.
Now,
assuming it's him and not Isaiah Jackson.
Well, I think we can probably safely assume that both of them play, right? Like both of them are. I would probably play Isaiah Jackson.
I put nothing past.
True.
Nothing past Carlisle.
Oscar Tshiebwe just won Rookie of the Year in the G League. He's definitely getting the call to play. He averaged 16 rebounds a game in the G League. So
anything is possible here. So.
Well, Isaiah Jackson 42,
yeah,
and Jalen Smith is 47. Jalen Smith got ejected in this game after Miles Turner left, and had 33 fantasy points.
17 and 10 in 16 minutes. I don't know how these guys do these things, but he's one of them. So
and got ejected, and just said, "Screw it, I don't need to play anymore."
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there.
Brandon Clark 23 minutes.
I know the minutes are on the up. I like Brandon Clark. Again, we'll have to see who's in for Milwaukee, but that's a good spot there for him.
You mean from? Well, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it matters for Milwaukee.
No, but it'd be a better matchup if everybody was just out.
Yeah. But Tristan Vukovic just went crazy, John.
True, that's fair. All right. Okay.
He's played like 4 games in the pros.
All right, we got Ayton in here. I guess we're gonna go Watford at power forward.
Just saying this, that Anthony Gill started for Washington. If there's no Kuzma, they started Gill at power forward. He's $3,400. So.
Okay.
I mean, Trey Mann is gonna play.
Yeah, I was looking for the same guy you were looking for as well. I was just going to Mann there.
He's gonna play a million minutes. So.
He is gonna play a million minutes. What's our number one spend up here? I guess it'd
number
be Giannis
one.
If he's in
Giannis for sure, because I think it's a complete uncertainty what's gonna happen with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Jabari Walker. It's an 8:00 lock, so we don't need to be.
So 52. Kennard.
And there's like clear OKC value. There's repair at $4,000.
Yeah, I don't mind repair. The minutes have been there for him, and that gives us a 66 guard. Murphy. There you go. Mann, Kennard, repair, Watford, Ayton, Murphy, Giannis, and Walker. We'll know the lineups. We'll know who's in and who's out. We'll have an idea on any pivots that need to happen throughout the day. Of course, I'm on the playbook, so make sure you check in the playbook, the Discord, and James and I will be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time to get you all ready for this 8-game main slate for Wednesday. Till then, everybody, we'll catch you later.